So good afternoon. Let us continue with the topic tenses. So yesterday in the previous video we were discussing about the verb forms. Today we will continue and let us see the table of tenses. So as I told you before, learning tenses, you have to be clear with what form of verbs that we use. So now tense is something that denotes time. So we have past, present and future. So past tense, present tense and future tense. So this again is divided into four, where we have simple, continuous, perfect, imperfect continuous. So to start with simple tense, yesterday we discussed about what verbs we use in simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. So today we will see how to frame sentences and what verb forms that we particularly use in the four forms. Yes. So taking simple, past, present, or and future, we will be using only the base verb. So for example, I use the verb write. So here I am taking write as the base verb. So the past tense of the verb is wrote. So taking it as a sentence, I write. So the past tense of it, simple past tense will be I wrote. So the future tense will be I will write. So in simple tense, if you see, we are using only the base verb. We don't use any other helping verbs. So here, present we are using a base verb, the past tense of the base verb, and in future we are using will along with the base verb. So throughout the future tense we will be using will. Continuous tense. So if you see continuous tense, one thing you have to remember. So like we have seen about be verbs. So the be verbs are one thing that we use in continuous tense. So here I write. So in be verb continuous form, I am using am as the be verb here. I am writing. So here I am using a be verb. Then writing, that is the verb which ing form. And the past tense of that will be like I was writing. And the future tense will be I will be writing. So if you see closely to the sentences that we have written, I am using am in the present tense, was in the past tense, and be in the future tense. So that is, when it comes to continuous tense, it's maybe past, present, or future. We are using only be verb. We don't use any other verb. So in that case, in continuous tense, if it is a past tense, we are supposed to use was or will. It depends on the person. So if it is I was writing. If I use some other person, they were writing. So here in present, if it is a present tense, we are supposed to use am, is, are. Be verbs. And here be itself we are using as a be verb in future continuous. So only one thing you have to remember, the simple tense we are using the base verb as the verb throughout. We don't have any other helping verb. And one more thing to be remembered is, in the place of a verb in few cases we use yes or es. That too changes with the person. So if it is I write, it is just right. If I use he or she or they, he writes, she writes, they write. Okay. So in that form, yes and es is added in simple tenses. In continuous tenses, throughout past, present, and future, we are using only be verbs. In perfect tense, when it comes to perfect tense, we are using have verbs. When it comes to perfect tense, we are using have verb. If you remember what verb has to be used in a particular tense, So here I am using have verb along with it the main verb, action verb is in a past participle form. So past tense, when it comes to past tense, I had is the have verb form of past. I had written. So written is in past participle. So whenever you write sentences in perfect tense means something, some verb is completed. So here we are using have verbs. So along with the have verbs, the main verb, the action verb will be in a past participle form, en or ed form. So I have written a letter. And in future, I will have written. So perfect tense we are using have verbs. So what will be the perfect continuous structure? So the perfect continuous structure will be like the continuous and perfect tense rule together. So the present perfect continuous will be like I have. So what is the rule of continuous? We are supposed to use be verb. So here we are using be. I have been. So for all perfect continuous, we will be adding been along with have. So I have been writing a letter. So past tense is like I had been writing a letter. So the future tense of it will be like I will have been writing a letter. So learning tense is not a big task. It is not a difficult one. All you have to understand is it is a simple tense. For all the tense, we use only the base verbs. And continuous tense, we use be verbs. Perfect tense, we use have verbs. And if it is a perfect continuous tense, combination of continuous and perfect, we use. This is a small tablet column of how to use